This right here, this was my game of the show. If I can't pick Gears of War E-Day, Magician, The Devil's Deal was my game of the show. I thought it looked absolutely sublime, followed pretty closely by Valor Mortis. Xbox had a phenomenal showcase, absolutely phenomenal showcase. It was Asha Sharma, the new CEO of Xbox. It was her first showcase, super important for multiple reasons. They had to like establish their direction going forward. They had to like rebuild trust. They had to get people on board. They had to show what all of these studios have been doing for a long time. They had to show a commitment to Game Pass. They had to show a commitment to exclusivity. They had to show a commitment to multi-platform things. Perfect. Like, absolutely start to finish perfect. They had the confidence to start with Gears of War, which is typical and all great. PlayStation started with Wolverine. I can't remember what Nintendo started with, but like typically that's what you do. You start really strong, you let the middle be as strong as it possibly can be, and then you end strong as well. PlayStation ended with God of War, and Xbox was so confident, and you could argue they didn't have anything else. They ended with another like hour-long video of Gears of War. And that sort of stole the show for me. Like to have that type of confidence was really, really reassuring. And they have made some really aggressive plays. I don't know how public it is or how many people have spoken about it, but apparently in the build up to all of the sort of showcases, Xbox specifically went to, I believe, Jeff Keighley, but most certainly went to PlayStation and said, "You're not showing this and you're not showing this." And those games were Halo and Gears of War. Specifically, Gears of War E-Day, and I think there's like leaks of this online. It shows at the end of the trailer the PlayStation 5 logo, which so many of the trailers in this whole event had, but Gears of War was stripped away last minute. And at the PlayStation show, they were going to originally showcase Halo Campaign Evolved, and that was apparently also removed last minute as well. I am a big fan of this. Really, really big fan. Xbox need to do this. They don't have a ton of plays they can make. They have 30% market share compared to Sony. They have like 34 million consoles, while Sony have like 91 or 92 or something like this. It makes sense when they got, Xbox got a mandate from Microsoft. Hey, we need 30% margins. Usually in games, you have like 20% or something like that. I think it's like 17 to 22. And to do that, it's really tough to do if you don't have consoles out there. So naturally, they put their games where they're going to get sales. Forza was selling like crazy on PlayStation, getting like 5 million sales. Halo Campaign Evolved. You had Gears of War E-Day going there. Gears of War Reloaded. Now, it's really encouraging to see, and this is, as much as people don't like sort of console wars and things like that, I think they're a necessary evil. I think you need reasons. And hey, wouldn't it be nice if like every company could just survive and thrive and, every game was on every system? That's just been proven not to work, quite frankly. Xbox is really, really, really struggling in as much as you can struggle when your parent company is worth like 3 trillion. Um, but it's interesting to see as like an individual sort of sub company within that, I guess, how they're handling all of this, right? They've had a recommitment to gamers, a recommitment to exclusivity. This idea of saying, no, this is ours. Like, we're celebrating Xbox. There's some stuff they've not been able to get away from. Fable, for example, is still coming out on PlayStation. If they could have, I think they would have stripped it. I don't know why they can't do that. It's made by Playground Games. That's their studio. I don't know what type of deal they would have had in place where they have to still release that. But just pulling back and keeping your games, I think is really, really important. I would have liked to see a lot more. As sucky as it would be, like I have to go out and buy an Xbox Series X. And shit, like I'm such a good example of that. I follow this stuff. So do you. Like, I didn't bother buying a Series X because there was no reason to buy one. Just objectively speaking, there was no reason to buy one. So many games were multi-platform. The rest of the games were cross-play. What was the reason to buy one? During the Xbox One and PlayStation 4 generation, so many players jumped ship from Xbox. What was the reason? I've got an Xbox Series S, but right now I'm such a cliche example of this because, like, you damn well sure I'm going to go out and buy the 25th anniversary Xbox, which looks fucking incredible, and buy Gears of War E-Day. You're damn right. Like, it's already working, Asha. So I really like Asha Sharma. I'm a fan. I'm one of those weird people that knew who she was from Instacart because I work in tech and she was a big deal. Okay. And she worked at Meta and I follow podcasts around tech and she was a big, big, big deal. Now, similar to how like if you follow like Big A, you know who like Lena Khan is, for example, right? Whereas Lena Khan, if you follow someone like the Pivot podcast, they were speaking about her like fucking 7 years ago or some shit. Like they were talking about her really early on. So just because of that background in tech, I just knew who she was. And it's really, really cool to see someone from sort of my space, if you were, even though I'm way more of a gamer than I'm a tech person, despite working in tech. It's really, really cool to see that like skill set and everything. And I don't know, being able to pivot, being able to move quickly and be agile, for lack of a better term, see it pay off in this way. Now, the casualty of all of this is going to be Gears of War E-Day. It's going to sell poorly because it's only going to 30 odd million consoles. I really hope it gets a high attach rate. I really, really hope this thing just crushes and sells like 10 million copies, like off the rip. Like 1 in 3 Xbox, like this generation players just own it. Obviously, you're going to get PC sales as well. I'm really not a fan of like of this, and this comes from a purely like business side of things. This is not a consumer side. When I say this, so just hold off. I'm not a fan of this like, hey, this is exclusive and this is, you know, on this and this and this and blah blah blah, and it looks phenomenal, and then right at the end it's like, and you can play it day one on Game Pass. It's like, what are you doing? What are you doing? Like, no, like have some prestige to these things. And this is part of the problem with Game Pass, I feel, and PlayStation has it to a lesser extent because with PlayStation Extra you get the PlayStation catalog, which is like in some respects it's better than Game Pass, because it's bundled in with everything and it just the titles are, I would say, more prestige titles. But it's kind of low key compared to Xbox's Game Pass, which is really front and center a lot of the time. They're always pushing it. I think we experience this if you're a movie buff or into TV. You experience this a little bit with Netflix. When a movie drops on Netflix, it immediately is not prestigious. You can just go stream that thing. It's whatever. It's on like 40 different devices. Like, who cares? Whereas when, you know, the new Nolan movie drops, right? The Odyssey, in this case, that's a big deal because it's like, it's at the cinema, it's an event. And I just wish Xbox would have that. I wish there was a version where it's like, sure, you can pay like some crazy amount and you can go and you play these games day one. If you're like a real hardcore, like the only thing you own is an Xbox and this is your subscription, great. But for everyone else, you're buying 2, 3, 4 games, 5 games a year max. This is not on Game Pass. Like, go out and buy the thing and have a great time. And I know that Game Pass is sort of plateaued, but like that I would like to see the prestige come, like I would like to see it come back to games. I don't like this. I like Game Pass. I have an Xbox purely dedicated to it, but like from that side of things, I don't know. It feels like it takes it away a little bit. Like if I, you know, switch on my PlayStation one day and it's like Naughty Dog, you know, Intergalactic is there and it's like, oh, you pay for PlayStation Plus, like here it is. It's like, oh, that's cool, but like it sort of takes away the luster from it a little bit. You know, especially when you've got a showcase where you dedicate so much time to it and people are talking about all this passion and like love and then it's just like, oh, it's just there to like download and stream type of vibe. It's just takes away from it a little bit. I don't know, maybe that's niche, maybe that's just a me thing, I don't know. But really, 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 really fucking strong from Xbox. Like so strong. And they just nailed it start to finish. Everything was brilliant. In terms of PlayStation, I'll quickly talk about that. I just wasn't that bothered. I just was not that bothered at all. Wolverine didn't do it for me. It's not done it for me since I saw it. It looks like an evolution of the Spider-Man gameplay to some extent. The sort of like without the web swinging. Yeah, it's more brutal and stuff. That's cool, fine. Like I don't mean this derogatively, like, and I just have no other way to put it, but like I'm not a child. Like I don't see like a body getting ripped up with claws and be like, oh my god, it's so cool. Like I don't care. Like I've seen gore in movies and TV and games my entire life. Like I don't really care if I can do that in the game or not. It's cool that it's there and it's cool that it's authentic to the character, but that's not like, you know, a USP for the game, right? And from what I saw in that gameplay segment, it just didn't, I wasn't that bothered. And I couldn't really place the characters either. Like it just, the art direction, maybe not correct, but like it just didn't seem to have like an identity. I started seeing different character designs and like the world design, and I'm like, where am I? Like, what's going on here? So it just didn't do it for me. And then a whole lot of nothing happened for me personally. And then we get to the end and we have God of War Laufey. I am not the biggest God of War fan. I'm actually more interested in the God of War 1, 2, and 3 remaster because I never played those. The God of War 2018, I got like halfway through. I need to get back to it. It's just, I kept bouncing off it, just not for me. I found it like relatively uninteresting. I sound like such a downer at the minute. I'm all these games. I'm like, oh, I didn't play this. I didn't play that. Holy shit. I will get back to it. I promise. It's part of my Should You Buy series, which is basically me just reviewing the entirety of my backlog. So subscribe to the main channel. But like, when it comes to God of War, it was nice to see this like reintroduction. I was like, oh, I can get back into this series and this franchise from a brilliant studio. By the way, when I say I bounced off a game, it doesn't mean the game is bad. It means I'm doing something wrong. All the like 20 odd million people that bought that game are not in the wrong. I am. So I was really excited for Laufey. It was interesting and unique spin on everything. And I think I will end on Nintendo and the clusterfuck that was their showcase. You know, I don't even know how to say this, but like the Thumb War game, right? That's I think got more time than Ocarina of Time. Like Ocarina of Time's like I think it's still the highest rated game of all time. You know, at least to Metacritic. It is this game that millions of people over decades of playing will still say that's my favorite game of all time. They are consistently playing new things every year. There is new challenges to that throne of their favorite game of all time, and Ocarina of Time is unscathed. And you are ending your showcase with it, which itself was disgracefully paced. And you show like an in-game, I hope, an in-game cinematic, and that's it. And I think there is no better example to highlight how poor that was than to show God of War Laufey and Gears of War as contrast points. With God of War Laufey, you've got a game that's coming out in 2017. Not 2017. Don't worry, you've not come out of a coma. 2027, right? I think that's what it was. It didn't get a date specifically, but it's about a year and a half away. But you still got 20 minutes of in-game stuff. Little asterisks there, not all of it was gameplay, a lot of it was just like moving around in the world, but regardless, it's still 20 minutes of uninterrupted things that you will be experiencing if you buy that game. Then we flip over to Gears of War, which I've already glazed enough, but like Xbox had so much confidence, they started the show with it. They showed a ton, uninterrupted gameplay, way better than any other presentation of a game from anyone. You get to the end of the show and then they're more than comfortable to show like another hour of it. Okay? And that comes out. So you've got Laufey coming out in 2027, then you've got Gears of War coming out in October, and then right at the end of that, you've got Ocarina of Time, one of the greatest games of all time, coming out this year, and you see nothing. Absolutely nothing. Nothing that would make you say, I want to buy that. Oh my god, like I'm so excited to buy that, other than the people that have already played it. Now, I'm in the strange camp where I did not grow up with Nintendo. I want to play Ocarina of Time entirely because I know it's good and I've not played it. And this is the perfect moment for me to play it. And I could have not have... to see what they shown was like a massive bucket of cold water over the entire thing. Now, people knew it was going to get showcased, right? It was leaked. But that shouldn't take away from it. What they showcased here should have been shown 6 months ago. Hey, we'll show you more throughout the year. Something like that. Or last year. Hey, this is a end of 2026 game, right? Christmas 2026, whatever. And show us that in 2025. Not mid-June show us like an in-game cinematic and say, hey, this thing is coming out in the next 6 months. I thought that was really poor. It was by far the worst showcase. It was just a gold standard of like what not to do for your showcase. And that isn't to say all the games that were announced were bad. Like, they weren't. If you just had a list of the games, like, it's pretty good. But that isn't what these events are about. Like, if we really just were like, hey, what are the games? Then these, publishers and manufacturers could basically just send out a PDF. Bam, bam, bam. This is the list. Just post it on IGN and GameSpot and wherever else, right? That's the games over 2026, 2027, and then some stuff we don't have a date for. Bye. But that isn't why we watch these events. We watch these events for like the pomp, the ceremony, the pacing, right? And Xbox did that perfectly as well, right? I've actually got the list here because I made a short on the main channel. You got 28 games and a hardware announcement, and they started with Gears of War, then they went into Fable, then they went into Halo, then they did Residents of Plague Tale, then they did Persona 4. I didn't even talk about this, actually. I didn't actually talk about this when I was glazing the shit out of Xbox. Spyro and Persona 6. This is another thing that was super impressive, because not only are they having the confidence to say, Gears of War is our thing. Yeah, it was supposed to come out on PlayStation. It's not anymore. It's our thing. And they're doing the very aggressive play of going to studio/IP that is, yes, it's multi-platform, but when you think of it, you think of PlayStation, right? Metal Gear Solid is a good example of this. When you think of Metal Gear, you think of PC, even though it started on Nintendo and it's on PC and it's on Xbox and Switch, right? You think of PlayStation. Same with something like Tony Hawk's, right? Or the original GTA games, right? Not the originals, but the trilogy on PlayStation 2. That was also on PC and it was also on Xbox, but you think of it as a PlayStation 2 game. And Spyro is in that ilk, and Persona is absolutely in that ilk as well. And it's a big deal for Xbox to go in there and say, this is ours now. We're going to showcase this. This is a 10 out of 10 showcase for them. It really was. So Xbox was 10 out of 10. Sony was like a 7 out of 10, 6.5 out of 10. And I don't know, Nintendo was like a 2 or a 3 or a 3.5 or something like that. They get a couple of points for the live stream working, I guess. I don't know. The only thing, if I was to add one criticism for Xbox, just one single criticism, it would be that, and this isn't necessarily their fault. I mean, it is their fault because they have complete control of it. They don't have like a prestige title. I know they have Gears of War, and that counts. They have Fable, that absolutely counts to some respect. But they don't have like a Naughty Dog. When I talk about Naughty Dog, right, it's just think of your own crown jewel studio. Right, it can be anyone. Like when Naughty Dog announced Last of Us for the first time, everything like stopped. It was like, holy shit, this is the showstopper. This is incredible, and it's from this studio that are working on a new IP. Xbox have the Coalition, which work on Gears of War. They have 343, which are designed from the ground up to build Halo games, and as the Coalition is set to do that for Gears of War. Playground, obviously, are the Forza people, and they're working on Fable. That's as far as you get. You don't get another studio. Maybe the Ninja Theory folks with Senua, maybe. But like, there isn't like a studio that's like their crown jewel studio that's like, here's our new IP, here's our thing. That was it. If there was any criticism, it would be that. But I'm going to wrap it up there. I will see you guys over on the main channel to talk about NBA The Run. I keep going to call it NBA Big because I keep thinking of EA Big Games, but it's not that. It's NBA The Run. So I'll do a first impressions video over there. This is what the thumbnail will look like. I'll put a picture here or something of the thumbnail so you can see. I'll drop some links down below in the description as well. Actually, I'll just pin it to the comments. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.